Hello, fellow wrestling crusaders, and welcome to our latest episode. My name's Sean Wasserkrug. With me, as always, is Jordan JPO Owens, and today we are going to be catching up on everything that's happened in the past week. A lot
Not much.
happened. Yeah, not much has happened. Not that the internet's exploded. I would like to say this for a lot of people who probably watched our last episode. We were literally shooting it when they announced the CM Punk injury. We were about 12 minutes into recording.
I'm gonna message you in about 15 minutes. See what happened today.
Exactly. So we were in our last episode. We were like, "Oh yeah, Punk's gonna do this, this, and this. This is what's gonna happen." And then as soon as we hit editing, I was like, "Shit." Well, our episode's already ruined. So we apologize if something happens here in the next, hour that we're shooting, and something drops. You're like, "You guys are behind again." Well, it seems to always happen whenever we shoot here. Welcome to the Crusaders. We seem to always be on airing when breaking news happens. Which, you know what, that might be a good thing or a bad thing. It's a bad thing for us. It's probably a good thing for you guys. But yes, the biggest thing, obviously, CM Punk injured. And even Jordan, you even said that it looked like Punk had got hurt in the match. And I was like, well, he was probably just selling and banged up. Well, no, he freaking tore his tricep.
No, it was. You could kind of tell, as longtime fans and as you in the business.
Isn't that the same
tell,
tricep before?
People were on the corner.
Wasn't it the same tricep before? I'm pretty sure it was.
I mean, I hate to say it, it seems like he's having a hard time staying healthy, which really sucks as a big CM Punk fan. And my God, first televised match, and I kind of said before, almost kind of flagrantly, it's not the hardest match to work either. You know what I mean? And Punk didn't do a shit ton in that match, and so I'm really worried for him. It's always next year, but damn, stay healthy, man, please.
Speaking from someone who has been in Royal Rumble matches, not the specific, obviously.
I can say that too. I've been in 3.
Okay, you have too. There's only 2 ways you really can get hurt in those matches. One, when you get thrown out of the ring and you're not prepared for it, and you just take a hard fall or a bad landing. Or 2, there's so many people in the ring and someone lands on you or steps on you, or you take a rogue shot that you're not prepared for. I don't know precisely. No, do you remember the spot where he got hurt in the match?
Oh yeah, the exact. I feel like you mentioned it at one point too, like at some point in the past week. No, I'm not sure of the spot. I just remember seeing they're checking on him in the corner. This is not just a cell. Mm-hmm. This is more than a cell. I remember thinking,
yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things where it's just Punk. And granted, he's been wrestling matches at house shows before, so this wasn't like it was his very first match back. 2, but still, he wrestled 2 matches with Dom.
They're full-length matches, and you can see them for full-length too. Everyone's got a nice HD cell phone now, so I remember seeing more than one angle being like, it's actually a pretty decent bootleg.
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't like it was his very first match back. But yeah, it does suck because he did look in great shape, but that doesn't mean that he was going to get injured. It's just random stuff. I mean, hell, AJ separated his shoulder when Edge came out. It was he just over torqued on the spear to make it look really good, and boom, separated his shoulder, and he was out for months. Yeah. It happens. But obviously because of that, and I immediately said that to you after we found out. I go, well, Rock and Roman's going to happen now, 100%. Because if Punk's out, unless we're gonna, because if we continue to do Cody and Roman, Seth's gonna basically wrestle a combination of Drew, Priest, Shinsuke, or Jay, or not Jay because he's gonna face Jimmy, but it's gonna be a combination of them, or it's gonna be a fatal 4-way, which we've seen and done before.
I would like to sell Seth versus Gunther is the match I would have liked to have seen.
I would love to see that too. But I just didn't think that that's what would go on. I didn't think
that's a money match.
I would be ecstatic.
You always got to come in too, so you could always maybe make Becky and Rhea as your main event too. There's different ways you could do it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, I mean, you always got to have plan Bs. And even C's and D's, because wrestling injuries happen and they occur, and you got to roll with the punches. I mean, Seth's knee injury, he probably shouldn't even be wrestling at Mania, but he's pushing through it, and almost now you're kind of wondering, maybe we probably should have just had him drop the belt, because now we got to reshuffle everything. There's already been 3 reshuffles for this Mania card in a span of a month because of injuries, and we got Chamber coming up. Now, Chamber has become a lot more safer than it was when it first came out. I mean, they matted the inside of the chamber, which I hate that. I hate that so much. It looks so, cheap now by doing that. But the chamber is still the chamber. People have gotten seriously hurt in the chamber. I think we all remember when Triple H's larynx got crushed by RVD because of a frog splash. And,
was that match number 1? No, it's
two. It was one of the first few.
Yeah, and I think it might be the second or third. I think that's the Goldberg one. I think actually.
That was the Goldberg one. And Goldberg didn't do the injury in that one. Shocking. But yeah, it's
he almost injured himself on his intro. Isn't that the intro of him fucking
Yeah, and then Undertaker got lit on fire during his entrance on one of them as well. And he just stormed the fucking pod like a lion because he was in so much pain. Which, I mean,
what do they say? He suffered some sort of second or third, and he
almost third-degree burns in that match, and it wasn't even in the match; it was in the freaking entrance. But I mean, there's still so much stuff that could happen that could change what happens with the card. So with Punk out, and I think a lot of people are even saying now that Punk might come back and do commentary while he's out, kind of thing. Which Punk's good at commentary, so I'm not mad at that if he comes back and does that. I mean, one of the strongest things about Punk is his voice.
I could see him maybe wanting to take the time off, but if they wanted to keep him on TV, there's two different ways to look at it. That's an easy way because they've done it in the past.
You Jimmy Hart on me? I saw the megaphone.
Oh, I was gonna say this just came in the mail today. I love a megaphone, just in case the PA is not set up at a wrestling show. And why not? It works really well.
Hey, you know what? I wouldn't be mad if someone brought that back because Jimmy Hart was great.
Let me tell you something, baby.
Yeah, baby, come on, baby, yeah.
I didn't even mean to do that. My bad.
I thought you intentionally meant to do that. But that leads us to obviously what happened on SmackDown. First things first. Seth's promo to Cody last Monday was great. That was a great promo. And you know what? Yeah. He sold me on it. I was like, dude, you sold me on wanting to see you two work. You explained it to Cody the way that you should explain it to him. You made Cody. I mean, granted, he's supposed to look that, but even I was going, Seth's got a point, man. The Hollywood title, the Dusty Rhodes title. I was like, that's a good line. That's a really good line. So I mean, in all honesty, it was just like, well, of course The Rock's stepping in. Like, he has to at this point. But what I wasn't prepared for was just the verbal vomited of hatred that The Rock got for this. First things first.
I knew it was going to happen. As soon as he popped up on SmackDown, I was like, this is going to get lambasted by the IWC, not by the general whole, but yeah.
I mean, but then it spilled over onto last night's Raw, where they were doing that too. It was like to the point where they were booing 1996. They were booing Seth. It's like, Seth didn't do anything wrong. This is like booing Rey Mysterio when he was number 30 in the Rumble. Rey didn't do nothing wrong. Don't boo Rey. Don't boo Seth. Like, no, we are not doing. This is not 10 years ago. This is not the Yes Movement. Okay, as much as they're going to try to frame this as the new Yes Movement, the Yes Movement was a one-time. Well, Kofi Mania was right there, but Kofi Mania was like Kofi Mania was like a 2-3 month storyline. Yes Movement was like 8 months. The Cody story is not the Yes Movement. You cannot force this thing through. And here's the thing: don't you guys think they have an actual fucking plan? There are so many ways that they can go through this. I already have 4 different possible ways that this could play out that makes everyone happy. And here's the thing that's going to annoy me.
Does it? Will it?
Here's the thing.
I understand why people are upset.
But here's the problem. Roman might have won on its own. What if Cody wrestles Roman and Roman still won? Because they want Roman to beat Hogan's record, which won't happen. Which won't happen until September 3rd. September 3rd is when he'll pass Hogan. It's so like, what would happen if that still happened? Rock's coming in. Rock's not winning. He's not. He's gonna do the job to Roman. If Rock wins, ooh, that's a ballsy ass move, guys. That's a real ballsy ass move. I mean, one route they could go is they could go the WrestleMania 9 route, which don't do that because WrestleMania 9 was one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. Don't have, Rock lose and then Cody comes out and Rock's like, you go get him, and then Rock goes and beats Roman in like 2 minutes.
A minute and a half,
yeah. Don't do that. You could also have, in my opinion, which I think might potentially happen, is Seth and Cody go out there, they have a great match, Cody wins, Damian cashes in, and he pulls a Seth Rollins. And then Cody has the belt, but he loses the belt. And then night 2, you got Rock Roman going. Rock gets hurt. Roman starts, whatever. Out comes Cody. Impromptu main event match. We get the match that everyone's wanting.
So you just sold us WrestleMania 9. You just said you didn't want WrestleMania 9.
No, WrestleMania 9, the match actually fucking ended. The match actually ended. I'm talking about Rock gets hurt.
This is not a better caveat.
I have like 4 or 5 different options that could happen. I'm just naming 2 that could happen. What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, they know what they're doing, okay? And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get Cody so over as another Daniel Bryan, and they don't need to do that. The wrestling world, the wrestling community, is drastically different than it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago was, not counting the CM Punk aspect of it, because the CM Punk aspect of it was basically where we're at right now, is the CM Punk fans of WWE 10 years ago. That's where we're at right now. We need to get it more towards the Yes Movement type crowd. But that crowd's not the same crowd as it was 10 years ago. And they want to be more, hatred, to the point where there's freaking Ava just had to close her freaking X account because she's getting death threats. Like,
yeah,
guys.
If you are trash, if you're going to that level, like, listen, I'm a little upset, just a little, because I do think this best story actually should have happened last year. I'm still a believer that
I don't disagree with that.
Last year.
Yeah.
But if you're sending a death threat or even any kind of rudeness with profanity, you're trash.
It has nothing to do with this guy.
Especially to her, true, yeah.
She's on
but even to anyone, let alone to a relative, like, you're trash.
Exactly. And so it's just, I feel like, first things first, they're not going to combine the belts again. That's not going to happen. A lot of people are like, well, Cody can win, and then Cody could challenge, say, hey, you want this belt? I'll give you this belt, but we'll do it together. That's another route.
They just brought this fucking title
out. They're not going to do that. There's people who
I think in 5 to 6 years, I feel like we're going to constantly see.
So
like,
combine. So talk about when Roman's going for Bruno's record. You combine it then.
Oh god!
That's how long it'll take.
Fucking take Roman off TV for a minute. Well, I guess
I think it's 4 more years.
Take the title off him.
4 more years for him to catch Bruno. But it's one of those things where I feel like
we don't live in that era anymore.
I know we don't, and that's why it's not going to work. Now, if he were to get to Hogan, okay, cool. That congratulations, you got to Hogan's record and ended. Or at that point, you're going to go to, if you're at 1,400 something days, get him to 1,500, which would be probably Survivor Series, and then have him drop it there. But then once we get to Survivor Series, we might as well just wait till Mania. So if I already know how their brain's gonna freaking work. So it's one of those things where I almost feel if Roman's not gonna drop it by SummerSlam, which if he has the belt in SummerSlam, he's not dropping it at SummerSlam because the record's right there. It's less than a month away at that point for Hogan.
Right.
If he keeps the belt at Mania, he's gonna have it till next Mania again, which is not gonna go well with the fans. But you also don't want Rock to win the belt. Because Rock isn't going to stick around. Rock's got to shoot movies. Rock's got to run the UFL.
Rock would probably defend it as much as Roman does.
You know what? That is a very valid point. but also, The Rock has to train himself in a way that is not pro wrestling trained. You can be as buff and tore up as shit as The Rock is for movies, but that is not pro wrestling trained, which is the exact same reason why he tore his pec when he wrestled Cena at, was it 29? Because he was not pro wrestling fit. He was just fit.
I also have a suggestion.
Go ahead.
I see a world still where I still think it's weird storyline wise that Cody's like, nah, I'll wait, I guess. I think a triple threat still makes sense to me. It's less work on The Rock. I think it's an easier match to work because this is going to be a one-off in all likelihood and quite potentially the last match. And again, you can maybe, because it's a triple threat, lead to the singles match next year where the title's on the line, not on the line at all. And I don't know. To me that makes the most sense. I don't see Cody facing Seth. I still feel like I don't know what we're gonna do with Seth. I still think Gunther's a good choice, but I don't know.
Honestly, I would Drew.
I think the press conference will show us for sure if it's just The Rock.
Drew is winning me over with every promo he does. Drew is doing so good in heel work right now.
I love the shirt.
That T-shirt was great.
Is that on sale? Do they actually?
It's on sale. It is on shop.
I figured they would. They got to. Okay.
Drew is doing so damn good right now. But I mean, it's one of those things where Drew and Sammy have
Liv Morgan.
Oh God, Liv Morgan. Yeah, let me tell you how happy I am to see her back.
Yeah, calm down, Sean. I know you're excited.
Yeah,
I'll get you that new Liv Morgan shirt on the shop. Don't worry.
Woo! I'm so excited. I mean, there's just still so much in flux going on with those two matches. Now, the rest of the card, obviously, we finally got to the Bayley turn, which everyone knew was coming back in freaking November when Asuka and
that's been a slow burn for a minute.
We knew that was coming from a mile away. That wasn't going anywhere. We're finally going to get that. That's going to be great. I mean, are we pretty much locked in that it's going to be Rhea and Becky? Do you really see anyone outside of Becky?
I don't see another major match that fits the Mania mold. I also just feel like, unfortunately, they pretty much told us. I feel that it's fucking happening. Like they literally did a one-on-one promo. Like if they don't, then like
there's only one scenario that I can see them not going with Becky. But I feel like that I wouldn't go this route because I still think it should be Rhea and Becky. Is that they bring Jade in to the chamber match and Jade wins it, and Jade goes against Rhea. But I would much rather see Jade go against Bianca at Mania because I felt like their standoff was kind of a good selling point right there. And I think that'd be a good way to get Jade in the spotlight is put her against Bianca.
I also think too, and this might just be, again, like an experience kind of thing. Jade's great, don't get me wrong, but I think you still need to test the waters a bit more.
I 100% agree.
A Bianca match is a perfect, ideal match.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I don't want to lose. This makes sense to have her win the chamber than lose. And I don't want her to win yet because I don't quite know if she's there either.
I agree, but I'm saying that'd be the only one I could see them putting.
Yeah, that's a big enough match. So
but I still don't see it happening. I still see Becky.
Yeah, no, we're gonna finish up Nia in February. Your girl Liv Morgan did kind of tease it, but I don't see that.
That is not a Mania match people want to see.
I think some do. I actually have a friend that actually did suggest that, but I don't think as a whole it's a super welcome match. I think a good Backlash match, but Mania.
I'm okay with her wrestling Liv at any pay-per-view except WrestleMania. Now, okay, so obviously last night Gunther. We started the feud with Jay. Granted, I think this is just going to lead to Jimmy messing with him at Chamber, and that sets up Jimmy and Jay at Mania. So with Gunther, are we still leaning towards Braun or maybe Dragunov? I felt like if Dragunov would have lost at Vengeance,
it'd be
more likely. But I feel like Dragunov.
Well, one interesting thing from SmackDown and Raw is they are for sure call-ups. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people do appear in the Rumble that aren't necessarily call-up. I don't know if they established who Roxanne Perez was or not, but Strand got the contract. Braun is signing the contract, so it is a call-up. So Braun's on the roster now,
and they already showed Braun with Imperium on Raw. So there was already
that's why I'm saying like you kind of want to do something with Braun. Kind of maybe the best option. You know, if they don't do Gunther and Seth, then you want him to have a top-notch, unique opponent. I don't know if you have a better option than Braun. You know what I mean? Unless they have something bigger for Gunther, that's definitely the best option for Braun, win or lose even. You know.
So right now, I mean, granted, we know on Friday they're supposed to announce his next challenger, but what are we thinking for Logan at Mania? Are we thinking LA Knight? Are we thinking someone else? Like, where are we thinking for him?
That one again. I'm just as uncertain as I was at Rumble time. You know, I really just looking who they kind of want in that match. LA Knight makes perfect sense. AJ Styles makes sense. You know, I mean, there's two hot faces that I think would have good matches with him. I think him and AJ might be the better match. So if you want to just go by match quality, do AJ. But LA Knight's a huge star. Do you give him his first big win at Mania? That would be a big pop. I don't know.
Here's the question though. There's one big name that we have left off of the main big matches, and that's Randy. Where does Randy
even Randy and Logan could be a unique one. Like there's so many faces, and
I don't know where else we
got to imagine Randy's got to get something.
Yeah, but I just don't. Right now, I'm looking, and I'm just like, I don't see unless you put him against Solo, but him and Solo wrestle on SmackDown. So how's that going to be a Mania match?
That's my trepidation with Drew. I love Drew. I love his promos, and I wouldn't be against him getting a shot / winning the title. But we've just seen it so much, man. I don't see that being a Mania match. They did it. They dragged it. It's done. That's a Raw storyline now. That's a 6 months to a year come again storyline, not a Mania storyline in my opinion.
Once again, which is why this Rock, Roman, Cody, Seth thing potentially has to happen, because if you're not going to do Cody and you can't do Gunther because IC title, then who?
You could though.
What I'm saying, but let's play devil's advocate and say they're not going to do Gunther because he's got to defend the IC title because he's at 606 days now. So they want him to defend the title at Mania. Then who that hasn't wrestled Seth 4 or 5 times already? You could do, Seth and Sammy, but Sammy has wrestled Seth on Raw. You bring someone from SmackDown over like AJ or Randy, okay, or LA Knight, okay, but still you got to do some quick build there in the span of a month without Seth being able to wrestle. Shinsuke,
it's not long.
Yeah, Shinsuke, they've already done that feud, and that's done and buried. Priest, you could do, but he's got the money in the bank. But is that a big time match right now? Has Priest gotten himself to that moment to earn himself a WrestleMania main event? I don't think he has.
And he's a tag team champ too,
Which do you honestly think that they're going to hold on to those belts till Mania? Because I'm honestly expecting them to drop those belts before Mania.
I think there's a possibility. Do you think it's going to be R-Truth and Miz? Maybe Chamber?
No, because at Chamber, it's going to be whoever wins between DIY and Bane done. What I feel like is if they're ever going to drop the belt, it can be at Chamber, and it could be that can set up Judgment Day versus Truth and Miz in just a regular match.
Does that match have enough juice on it though?
If you
feel without the titles, that's not a Mania match.
If you I think even with a belt, it's not much of a Mania match either.
I think based on how hot R-Truth is for the first time, not even for the first time, but I think the hottest he's ever been. The Miz for once is kind of working as a babyface, for the first time ever. I disagree. I think that's a good mid card. It's been built over months storyline. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I don't know if I see like a DIY versus so and so in Mania or a Pete Dunne and Tyler versus so and so in Mania. I don't know.
The thing is that one thing that they showed me this last SmackDown and this last Raw is that there's about 10, maybe even 12 really good tag teams on the main roster right now, and none of them are being showcased in the title picture because Judgment Day is a makeshift tag team. They are. If anything, if there is a tag team in Judgment Day, it's Dom and JD, because they're the lower guys. It's not Priest and Finn. They're singles competitors who just kind of who were feuding with Sammy and KO because other big singles guys. But they've kept the belts on for so long that they're a team, but they need to establish an actual tag team. You have Creed Brothers, you've got DIY, you've got Imperium, you've got LWO, you've got now Dunn and Bate, which is a great tag team. You've got Pretty Deadly, which I know they're not going to give them the belts, but I would love seeing Pretty Deadly in WrestleMania just for their attire alone. I want Pretty Deadly there.
True.
But I don't want to necessarily have a tag team turmoil match because we just did that. But we have so many great tag teams. We need to start
a four-way. It wasn't a turmoil, but I don't like turmoil.
No, we did a turmoil, like a gauntlet one, was it like a month or two back on Raw?
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that Mania.
The Creed Brothers. Yeah, the Creed Brothers won that.
Yeah.
So a lot of that the tag team picture's still in flux. We will find out more of that probably after Chamber.
Yeah.
The women's tag belts, I don't think that's gonna be anything in Mania. I mean, do you think Asuka and Kairi are gonna have an established tag team match by then?
You could.
Who
That
do
could
you think
very
would you
well.
give them?
I think that could also just be your random, like, let's get a lot of people on the card. That could be a 4-way. Who knows? I mean, they've established that, like, what is it? Shannon and Zoe are kind of a team. Um, if you still want to give a spot to, Chelsea and Piper again, you got Katana and Kate and the dancers. You still got a lot of people that, again, that could be your kind of filler. Let's get a lot of people on the card kind of match.
Multi women tag match.
They haven't done the, and who knows? Like, we just got Naomi back. What are we doing, Naomi? Is she gonna randomly find a partner again?
I mean, if it would probably be Bianca right now, but that's once again a makeshift tag team.
Yeah,
The whole women's division is a makeshift tag team league for the most part, except for Katana and Kaden. I think they're the only like legitimate like tag team.
What's funny is they hyped up Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, who was a NXT tag team.
And they're a great tag team too. But once again, they showed up. They got jobbed by Ronda.
They got jobbed. They jobbed out in the tag titles match too in a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
in like 3 minutes. It was a 1 segment, 3-minute match, and I was like, and they kind of had built up to it too, which was sad.
Yeah, I mean, you got. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of LWO Legado del Fantasma, like 4-on-4 mixed tag match. I'm sure that's going to be a thing. I'm sure if they didn't complete it by then, Final Testament, and I know they're not the Hurt Business, but Lashley and the Profits and Beef.
I think that could.
B-Fab.
B-Fab. Is she even officially in it?
What's that?
We haven't seen her in a minute.
She showed up on SmackDown.
Did she?
Yeah, they were having a 6-man. It was honestly it was a 2-minute segment. It was a 2-minute segment. If you would have went to the bathroom, you would have missed it. Final Testament. It was supposed to be Final Testament against Lashley and the Street Profits. They got in the ring before the bell even started.
Yeah, no match.
But Scarlett came in and jumped on Lashley's back, and B-Fab ran in and pulled Scarlett off. And then all 8 of them were squaring off from outside the ring and inside the ring. So B-Fab has joined them.
I'm such a good journalist. So that's finally canon. Good to know.
Honestly, like I said, it was 2 minutes, man. It was 2 minutes.
No, I remember going like, oh, they're doing this match now, not like oh. And then
I thought that too. I was like, wow, they're rushing that, but they're not.
That could be a chamber match. I don't see that being a Mania match.
No, but we could always get a. You know what I would be mad at? A good old fashioned. If you remember, like WrestleMania 13, the Chicago Street Fight when it was like the Nation of Domination against like Road Warriors, Alpha Man, yes, just do that. Yeah. I'd be okay with that, and then let LWO and Legado do.
That's your workhorse, yeah.
That's your workhorse match right there.
Match, right. No, I buy that because that's to me is what makes a card fun is when you have just a fun brawl match.
Yeah, I mean, and then Kevin and Sammy, they don't have matches yet on the card. Randy and AJ, like we said, I mean, there's so many people. I'm looking at the list of people who still don't have matches yet. And there's Sheamus. I'm sure he should pop back in at some point.
He might miss out. I think at this point.
Yeah, at this point, he might not be back by Mania. They might just keep him out. But Shinsuke,
even if he's cleared, I would just keep him off because it's just I think we're stocked right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much to go by with what Mania is going to be right now. Like, just when I thought I had everything kind of locked in, the whole thing just got scrambled around.
It's tough, we're at 2 nights now, so you got to look at least a 12, if not a 14, a 16 match. You know what I mean?
At least 10, at least 5 matches per show.
And then sometimes too, the way they kind of have done it recently is kind of like the 1 or 2 lower matches kind of end up on SmackDown. So I even wouldn't be surprised if AOP fought the Hurt Business on a SmackDown before,
like the kickoff to the kickoff kind of
thing. Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, and then of course revert it back to obviously the main part of this with Cody Rock and Seth Roman. I mean, at the end of the day, let's say everything stays exactly the way it is. Let's say we get Seth. We do actually get Seth, Cody, Rock, Roman. Will you be satisfied with that Mania? Or are you going to be kind of on the side of all the we want Cody things and just want to shit all over this Mania for what it is. Because I'm sorry, even if I know what we're trying to establish with Cody. It's already working. I don't think it's working the way they wanted it to work. I think it's going way too violent, especially with the internet community and the death threats to Ava and all this kind of stuff. But Cody didn't need that boost. Cody's got the boost, but he doesn't need it. But if we keep it this way, I'm fine with it. Are you?
I'm fine with the Rock part. The Cody thing still baffles me just because we've seen that match and that's not the story. His dead dad doesn't give a shit about that new title. Like that's not the story,
No,
man.
but it is. But they did reestablish that is the world heavyweight title, which is the WCW title, which is the NWA title,
right,
which is the Dusty title.
Cody wants. No, Cody wants the WWE title.
I know. Yeah. I'm trying to be devil's advocate for Seth.
No.
There.
Technically is that title. I think Seth's defense is not even that. Seth's defense is more like I made this the title that everyone wants right now. You know what I mean? It's kind of title your dad would be proud of.
Did you also notice at Rumble that they I believe they stopped calling it the Universal Championship for Roman?
Oh, really?
It's now undisputed WWE champion.
Oh well, I did. Yeah, that's true.
They I was like, oh god, they finally dropped the Universal because that was always the dumbest damn title name.
But it's very disputed. You have two titles. it's very disputed.
Exactly. But like once again, so for you, if you can't see Cody and Seth going at it, is your only okay with other option is Gunther? Can you think of another option that you would be satisfied with?
I'm not an angry internet guy or an angry watcher. I'm going to tune in for Seth versus Cody because it'll be a fun match. I'm going to tune in for Seth versus Drew because it'll be a good match, and I love Drew. But I just think logically, as far as like my hype, will dampen if it's a match I've seen already, and if it feels like, well, we just got to get The Rock because he's a superstar, and no one's talking about Vince anymore. So let's get The Rock on that show.
I mean, granted, Rock,
but I'll have fun.
Rock and Roman should have happened 2-3 years ago. Let's be real here.
Yeah,
but Rock wasn't available
last year, and it was a perfect match this year. If Roman had lost last year, that is a perfect match this year. But now it's all just weird and confusing, and it does a disservice to Cody and logic and sense.
Because that is the other bummer part about this too, and I was talking about this with my girlfriend when we were watching Raw, is by already establishing, at least as of right now, Rock, Roman, Seth, Cody, we have just lost an Elimination Chamber match. Because it's always been men's Elimination Chamber match decides who wrestles the other champion, or last year or something like that, it was, defending the title. But now it looks like it's just going to be the women's, number one contendership match. Do we get a second chamber match? Maybe someone who decides who wrestles Logan or who wrestles Gunther, or a tag team. I would be cool with a tag team one personally, but we're not going to get that. But I mean, that eliminates that. Well, the problem is that the tag titles are already being defended. Why would they do I would love if you take these teams that were just going.
I have enough teams to.
I know we do.
The options there.
Yeah.
Your options are the ones that you said. Like one, you could. I mean, if you want to say, "Hey, Gunther, you've had the title for 600 days. You're great." Chamber, you and 5 other people. You could go tag teams. We haven't seen that in quite a while. You have enough tag teams.
I would love a tag team chamber match. That'd be great. That'd be great, especially with the teams we got right now. This is probably the first time in a very, very long time that I'm actually genuinely excited with our tag division in WWE.
The talent's there. My only trepidation earlier when you were talking about it was that I just don't know who else has been pushed to make sense for Mania. I love.
But you can use Chamber to push people. I mean, look at Kofi Mania. Kofi literally got pushed the SmackDown before Chamber, then the Chamber match, and that's how Kofi Mania started.
It was a quick Kofi Mania there. So there's a few different ways they can do Elimination Chamber. I imagine you got to do a men's. I would imagine, but
I would imagine that too. But it's just right now, if the world titles are locked in the way they are locked in, is it going to be who wrestles Logan then? Is it a U.S. title one? Because then you could do KO, Randy, AJ, LA Knight. That's 4 right there. You just need 2 more, and there you got a chamber match. You got enough right there. Technically, Sheamus, he can come back then because is it the U.S.? No, it's the Intercontinental title he needs. That's what he needs. He doesn't need the U.S. title. Damn it, he would have no reason to do it instead of just instead of just not liking Logan. Just like, I want to go in there and beat him up.
And he wants a title and a Mania shot, so you really could if you wanted. But
that's
Dragon Lee. Put Dragon Lee in there. But Carmelo is pretty much a roster member. What's he gonna do?
I don't know. Melo, especially after Vengeance Day, do you think he's gonna go main roster right now, or do you think he's gonna stay down there in NXT? Because that's a storyline right now.
I think he's a heel. I think on SmackDown he'll be a heel without Trick, because he was already without Trick to a large degree, and maybe finish that storyline obviously on NXT.
Yeah, I mean it'd be great if we got, like I said, Dragunov losing the belt would have been great. It really would. Anything else you'd like to add before we end this?
Interesting, man. No, I will say this: I am excited about the future, though. Like, as much as some things might not be my go-to cup of tea, I'm excited about the future, though, because there is still a lot of question marks. We mentioned a lot of big names that we have zero clue about. AJ, LA Knight, like, we can guess one of them's probably going to go Logan. Maybe 3 of them. We could do a 4-way again, but we'll start 4-way with some of those guys. I don't know. A lot of question marks in the future with the tag division, with the titles. We're still not even set on the titles. So I think press conference this Thursday, I think, right? And Chamber are going to be your 2 really huge, this is where we're going with the majority of the card. Because right now, there's a lot of question marks, and that's fun. I don't mind the question marks.
And I'm sure, and Solo, that's another one. We didn't mention Solo.
Solo, and unfortunately, too, some people are going to end up, because this happens every year. There's going to be really good, talented people that are in the Andre Battle Royal. There's going to be really good, talented people. Solo may just literally have a spot in Roman's match, not even have a solo match. Like, that's quite possible.
Which is what happened at Royal Rumble. He was just
That's what I'm saying. He was just, unfortunately, that happens. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. I could see them even going like, hey, well, at least you're involved. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to match for you next year, maybe kid, but, at least you're involved doing something. And there's always been top names that are in the fucking Andre Battle Royal, sadly, which I at least hope is on Mania and not the SmackDown before. Because I feel like that defeats the whole point it was made for.
Exactly. Totally on purpose. But yeah, we're 2 days out from the press conference. We're 18 days out from Elimination Chamber. We're 60 some days out from Mania. So like I said, plenty of things to change.
60 something on Raw, right? I like the countdown though. I like that they're doing 60. Whatever.
Bottom line is, everyone needs to calm the fuck down.
Yeah, have fun. Like, I'm not mad by any means and shit. Like, if it ends up being Rock and Roman, I still want to see it.
Yeah, y'all are working. I'll watch it. The bottom line of this whole thing is, none of this would have happened if Punk hadn't have gotten hurt. Bottom fucking line.
Fucking Phil.
Yes, none of this would have happened if Punk had stayed healthy. So everyone needs to chill. It's not like Rock did this intentionally. It's not like this was, a lot of people are saying this was planned, back when he signed the TKO thing. Shut up. Punk got hurt. They had to call an audible. Chill out, everybody. It's all gonna work out. Just go along for the ride and have fun with the road to WrestleMania like Jordan and I are. But until next time, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you guys did, go and hit that like, share, and subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos pop up on the Wrestling Crusaders. And of course, you have to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. We'll be back probably here next week, probably see where the hell we're at with this now, or we'll probably come up with some different topics to talk about going into the road to WrestleMania. I'm sure we probably got Chamber stuff to talk about. We'll probably go over that stuff. We'll figure it out on the way. But yeah, we are the Wrestling Crusaders. I'm Sean Waskrug. That is Jordan JPO Owens. And until next week, in case we don't see you, go watch some wrestling. Don't try this at home unless it's on your little brother. And don't tell mom.
So, goodbye. And good night. Bang!